So this past weekend we had the second rendition of the Nashville Grand Prix. In the first one in itself, let's just say some interesting things happened.
One more left-hander, and this is a very short stretch. And even before they get to green, that's Marcus Ericsson going over the top of Sebastian Bourdais.
Oh, to add confusion to everything, that same driver that took flight won the race. So, with that happening in the first race, what would the second race be like? Well, more chaotic. And this is what happened. This past weekend on the newly resurfaced, or so they said, Nashville street circuit, there are some changes made to have some bumps reduced, which will age well. Some moves to get the walls that people won't be going into the barriers. That will age well. And less room for incidents. That will certainly age well. First practice was a sign of things to come when Canadian Dalton Kellett already went off course. Yep, not shocked by everything at all. But towards the front, it wasn't about any of the championship guys, more of the rookies and Christian Lundgaard who topped the charts at the end of first practice one. Also, rookie Dave Malukas in Dale Coyne Racing Equipment actually doing quite solidly. And Felix Rosenqvist, the smartest of the McLaren drivers, in the middle of them. That I will get to later on in the race. The second practice started with having recently extended Rennes VK of Ed Carpenter Racing show his loyalty to the team by putting his car in the barrier. Graham Rahal must have liked this approach, as later on during the session while on a lap, he ended up doing the same exact thing to his car.
Turn 9 ended up being tricky for a lot of guys when it came to bumps on the track. Colton Herta, Callum Milot, Joseph Newgarden had a problem. Along with those three, McLaren driver Pato O'Ward, he himself also had a problem with the turn, getting spun out in a nice 360. It's also at this point we remember Devlin DeFrancesco hasn't done anything stupid yet. By that I mean to crash into a barrier. The session will end with Kiwi Scott McLaughlin being at the top of the charts as we headed into qualifying. Qualifying got off to a really good start. By that I mean Devlin DeFrancesco's car immediately killing itself.
I'm not surprised about anything. Congratulations.
Along with this, Colton Herta also decided that it would be better to crash in qualifying rather than the race this year, as he completely mangled his front wing and ended up missing Q2. Then when it looked like Q2 was going to have no problems, Will Power decided to go off course, and to get back on course he decided to take his car for a spin and miss Q3. Amidst all of this chaos in qualifying, it ended up being Kiwi Scott McLaughlin who ended up on pole, with Roman Grosjean in second, and rookie Christian Lundgaard having a very good qualifying and being inside the first two rows. Now on to Sunday. Then Sunday finally arrived, and the first few laps of racing we had actually were quite solid. Scott McLaughlin got a good jump on the initial start, but after only 2 laps of clean racing, the shenanigans got underway. On lap 3, there's an incident involving Colton Herta, as Dalton Kellett ended up sending him into the barrier. Yeah, Kellett just showing us why he shouldn't be in IndyCar next year. Meanwhile, Alex Rossi a few laps later forgot turn 10 existed, as he stalled his car and it caused a yellow. And now back on lap 11, this would actually end up being the longest green flag stint of the race of over 10 laps. However, we cannot have nice things. As on lap 22, Heller decided to take a spin. Now back from that yellow, hopefully we could get some more green flag racing, as Alex Palou had quite an extended lead, as Jimmy Johnson, who was near the front, was getting passed by everyone. Shocker there. The most non-surprising thing of everything decided to happen, and you could probably tell what I mean by that.
Graham Rahal has contact.
Okay, it's only a few guys. Can't be worse, right?
Oh, way more drama.
Oh, you've got to be kidding me. Graham Rahal just so happened to hit Pato O'Ward in the right spot, which sent him into Willpower, which in the meantime created the Nashville parking lot. Makes sense. Okay, hopefully most of the yellows are out of the way now. We could have some decent green flag racing. Pato O'Ward is now out of the race, but Alex Palou still pulling away. Hopefully some nice, decent racing the next, I don't know how.
Better of it, a little contact. We see
Rossi and Kalamilot get to...
Or go myself, okay. In the meantime, Alex Palou was still leading. Simon Pagenaud at second, and Dave Malukas having a decent run in third. Okay, what's going to happen now?
10.
Oh,
there
yeah.
it is.
And
Takuma
Sato.
Sato involved in that as well.
Of course, there's a Canadian going into a wall. This time it's Devlin DeFrancesco. Devlin, as always, found a way to run out of talent, except this time he took out Takuma Sato with him. Finally, a somewhat decent run. That's good. And Rinus VK is off course. Of course he is. Hopefully this is the only time he does anything stupid this race. In the meantime, Willpower ended up having a terrible pit stop on pit road during the green flag cycle. And while he needed a miracle to be somewhat back in it, he ended up getting that miracle shortly after.
My goodness.
Yeah, Rinus chose the perfect week to sign that extension with Ed Carpenter Racing with how many times he's been binning his car this weekend. Leave it to Rinus VK to decide, you know what? I want to be part of this wreck too. I got nothing better to do, so I'll just pile in. In the meantime, the rookies of Christian Lundgaard, Dave Malukas, and Kyle Kirkwood all had pretty good showings going, including all three of them being in the top 10, and Malukas and Kirkwood being real close to each other, position-wise. Yeah, this is about to age very poorly, isn't it?
The two rookies who are featuring today.
I can't have nice things, can I? Kirkwood ended up making a move that took not only himself out, but also Dave Malukas. Whoop-de-doo. It's also at this point that we realized that we had just gotten to 10 to go, and Jimmy Johnson had not yet crashed yet. Yet alone, he was actually running in the top 12. Okay, who altered the space-time continuum? How is Jimmy Johnson still running in this part of the race? Can someone fix the space-time continuum, please?
Penske's Jimmy Johnson.
Okay, yep, we're back to normal now. There's the Jimmy Johnson crash. Johnson was just going on a nice stroll on the bridge, when next thing he knows, he goes for a turn and just loses it. Typical Jimmy Johnson for you. Having a restart with 5 to go, I really just wanted this race to be over. But realizing this is IndyCar in Nashville, it was only a matter of time before something else just ended up happening.
Oh, and Grosjean is in the wall.
And what a shocker, Grosjean crashes out. What ended up happening was Newgarden went a little too deep and ended up putting Grosjean in the wall and ending his race, which had Grosjean not too happy, but at the same time ultimately resulted in a red flag, and at the same time just conveniently had Marcus Ericsson's gearbox commit Windows shutdown on him. Now finally on the last lap, it looked like Scott Dixon's race to lose, with him holding off Scott McLaughlin going into the final turn before they made it to the final turn, and Scott McLaughlin almost passed him at the line. But Dixon ended up getting the win, and now the championship fight in the last 3 races is actually pretty tight, and it should be fun to watch. So with that, there's what happened in Nashville. This is TJ signing off. Peace.